I'm sure many of you remember last year, a man drove through the Waukesha Christmas parade, killing 6 people and injuring 60 others, and over the last couple weeks he's been on trial for it, and he chose to represent himself in court. Now I'll go ahead and spoil it, he's no Saul Goodman. No matter what you're picturing, the reality is significantly stupider. You are not prepared for the absolute unhinged lunacy of this man defending himself in court. Now, as of today, he has been found guilty on 6 charges of intentional homicide, which he now faces a mandatory life in prison. So that's a good happy ending, but I'd like to show you some clips from the trial. This is an extremely serious situation, but him defending himself turned it into an absolute circus, and he was just the clown. The man went to court as the jester as opposed to trying to defend himself. It is so unbelievably dumb. I don't even know how to fully describe it. I know he's representing himself. I also heard that he built a fort. Like he got removed from the court and built a fort out of boxes to hide in or some shit. Is he trying for insanity? I don't know. And I also don't know if that's even a good strategy. I don't remember who made the video. It might have been Jim Can't Swim. I'm not sure. But apparently going for the insanity plea is bad. You set yourself up for a really, really, really rough time. He's not going for insanity, he's going for a mistrial. I read that theory as well. Like him arguing with the judge was hoping that she'd snap at him and then he'd be able to make a case for a mistrial. But she didn't play his ball game. I just don't think he's that smart. Like, I don't think he has the capacity to even come up with that plan.
I would note he put 2 boxes right in front of where he's seated, so I can't...
It's his fort.
See his face. I see his jacket is off, so I can see the outline of his arms.
Okay, for people that don't know, I'll bring everyone up to speed. This guy is an absolute goofball, but what he's done is anything but goofy. This is the guy that ran his car through the Christmas parade and killed, I think it was 6 people. He's representing himself at the trial right now. Oh, yeah, it even says right here, killing 6. Well, now you've ruined his whole defense.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to ask you for a 3rd time. I've asked you twice now, and I'll ask you a 3rd time. Do you have any requests as it relates to the instructions?
That was his fucking box fort. Have some respect.
Hey man, you don't gotta talk to me like that. It ain't like they gonna be honored though.
As it relates to the jury instructions, sir, what are your...
I heard what the hell you said, man.
Jesus Christ.
Mr. Brooks, that was very disrespectful.
For what anyone that doesn't keep up, and admittedly I haven't watched this whole thing top to bottom, I've only seen the clips. His tactic is yell at the judge as much as possible, hoping that she'll snap it back at him, but she just treats him like an actual baby. Just, hey, that wasn't nice. Can you use your inside voice? Okay, I don't really want to go down this road. Can you stop? Why are you so mad? Please? This is silly. Just all she gives him, because if she does like snap back to try and like discipline, based on what I've read, they could try for like a mistrial, stating like the judge was biased or the judge clearly had it out for the client or some shit like that. So she's just keeping her cool, keeping everything super mellow, super stoic. So good for her.
I'm going to mute him again because he's not answering the questions that I'm very clearly asking him, and I've given him 5 opportunities.
Give him his boxes back and he'll be more talkative.
Brooks, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions? I'll unmute you for that answer.
I can't hear everything you're saying.
You might break
Yeah,
them.
I'm still agitated. I ain't gonna stop being agitated. That ain't gonna stop. You sit up here and do everything you're doing, and think God don't see what you're doing.
You can't call God as a witness. That's not fair. That's like summoning Exodia.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury
Yeah,
instructions?
I can hear what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying.
You just told me you didn't. So what are your requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir?
A little bit of ice cream in my boxes back.
Why am I charged with 2 bail jumpers when I was already charged in Milwaukee for the same bail jumping? That's double jeopardy.
That's not double jeopardy. Your objection is noted. It's overruled.
I'm not familiar with the law. Is double jeopardy something that you could, like an actual legal thing, or is this man really confused on where he is right now? Because that was a quick overruling. It can be, but not here. Okay. So it can't be tried twice. They call it double jeopardy. Gotcha.
What's your next request, sir? I'm noting your objection.
I'm trying to talk. Can I get it out? You always want me to not interrupt you, but you always find a way to talk over me.
I understand your position. I'm saying it's
You
overruled.
always want respect. You always want respect.
Well, you're not hearing the epilogue here. He's about to overrule your overruling if you give him a moment.
Same bill. No, I want to know why I'm even charged twice with the same thing. You can't charge
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. What the fuck?
already charged with bill.
Oh, he got his boxes back. He can build his fort again.
Turning to the basis for
Give him a couple extra boxes.
counts, it will be up to the jury to review the evidence and make a determination as to the verdict forms, though that were
What's in the
represented
boxes?
to at least the
He's
description
representing
of the
himself,
jury
so it's probably just a bunch of like
instruction
legal books and shit.
obviously, some of them did not have them on, just frankly from prior. So as it relates to this, the state is asking that I simply
He's vanished, Your Honor.
instruct the jury.
The box ghost has
pattern
claimed him.
instruction and not include that I-
This is so eerily similar to that case I've told you guys about multiple times, and I keep forgetting who it was, but it was a man who had killed his girlfriend, and I believe it was the boy, his son, testified against him, giving the details, and he's like, no, you guys are all wrong. I did kill her, but not where you said I killed her. So if you're going to tell the story, you're going to tell it right in front of the whole court. That shit was wild. I can't remember who that was. Was that Ronnie O'Neill? That name looks very familiar. Yep, that was another person who represented himself. Somehow, the people that represent themselves are the dumbest people of all time. That's weird, right? That's weird how that works. I even just voice cracked that, how strange that was. You would think if you're representing yourself, you're like a super intellectual being. But I mean, I don't know. Not a great track record. So weird.
It's unfortunate that he's deciding not to participate in this. I agree with the state. I don't need to highlight that second paragraph.
What is the protocol for this? I'm very curious. Everyone I've seen represent themselves, at the very least, tries to play ball. Like the guy who openly admits to murdering his girlfriend and correcting the people on where he murdered her. But this guy just straight up doesn't do anything. He just builds box forts. So at this point, it's just like a field day. You could just give them like everything all at once since he's not defending himself. The judges usually like to be lenient in these cases to prevent grounds for appeals. Well, that's what I was saying, right? Because they're doing everything they can to avoid a mistrial motion, right? Because, I mean, this is a very serious case. This guy is an absolute fucking monster. This guy is evil. This is the guy that ran through that Christmas parade, killed 6 people, injured 60. This is a man by no means should be let off easy under any circumstances, so they're doing everything they can to tiptoe around here to make sure there is absolutely no wiggle room for mistrial accusations. So I get that.
All right, sir. Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do, and I object to being called that name for the record.
What?
Do you recall giving a
What?
statement to an officer?
Someone fill me in on the lore. What does he want to be called? He's claiming his name isn't Daryl Brooks. Oh my god, how did I miss all of this shit? I've only seen some of the clips. I had no clue. What? He thinks it's a loophole. We've seen this before on court cam. There was a guy, I don't remember what he's there for. It might have been a DUI, but I'm just spitballing what it was. But his whole thing was, that wasn't me. That person that you're accusing of doing that is not me. That's not me. And then they asked what his name was, and he's like, it's not that. That was his whole defense. Is he trying that in this situation?
I was positive it was you. Who is you? You. I'm looking at you.
I'll make note of that.
And how did you come to that conclusion? The
sure?
you conclusion.
I'm looking at you.
How did you come to that conclusion? Did you?
What conclusion? Can you restate the question?
You're saying that you gave a description.
All right, fine. Chat keeps pointing it out. I will also bring attention to it. This man's hairline is fucked up. It looks like the bat signal. Fine. We can get it out of the way now. All right? And now let's move on. We get it. He's got a fucking awful hairline.
On the non-emergency phone line, correct?
I'm looking at you. You are the guy.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
You and I were standing in the same yard looking at each other.
So, is it possible you saw something on the news?
No, I had no idea who you were.
What?
Interesting.
I'll make note.
This morning, the trial for Darrell Brooks, the man accused of driving through the Waukesha Christmas parade last year, killing 6 people, begins, and Brooks is representing himself as a sovereign citizen.
Wow. Okay, so he's going for the sovereign citizen card. I think this is just a theory. I think this whole sovereign citizen thing was started by 4chan as a joke. Kind of like that whole thing with like JFK Jr.'s been revived and he's announcing his presidency, just go wait here for a month. I honestly think sovereign citizenry was started by 4chan just to troll people in the real world. Because all it does is get people arrested because it's not a real thing and they make absolute fucking fools of themselves. Every single time. Like 100% of sovereign citizen cases gets people in jail. Yeah, the sovereign citizen cop clips are unreal. I wasn't driving under the influence. I'm a traveler. The vehicle is moving and I happen to be in it. I'm not driving, I'm traveling is a big one. Or I'm not Charles White. Charles White is my vessel. Or yep, we're not in America. There's another big one. I don't know how long sovereign citizen's been around. I really don't. I only know it from all of the clips over the last decade. Yeah, they took his rap video down, didn't they? I don't think that's up anymore. Oh, never mind. They put it back. They played it during the trial. That should be another criminal charge. It's trash. It's fucking trash.
We're going to play it in its entirety, but without volume, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Oh, that probably isn't even standard procedure. The music was just so bad, they're like, we're going to do everyone a favor and mute it.
And
I object to that, and I would like to make an offer of proof of my appeal.
We'll do that outside.
I object. I want to
the
hear my
jury, but
music.
I will allow the state to play it in its entirety.
My shit's
Your
fire.
Honor, I have all the exhibits they were provided.
Mr. Brooks, I'll take that up outside the presence of the jury.
This
Your
is
objections are
mind-boggling.
noted.
This is
It's
mind-boggling.
overruled.
Mind-boggling.
I love the way he acts as if he's some kind of seasoned lawyer. My God. In all my 30 years of practicing law, I've never seen something like this. This is... What a circus of a trial. Back to Double Jeopardy.
actually, Your Honor, I changed my mind. I would like to play the audio, please.
This is mind-boggling.
I want to have it.
You don't want to play the audio.
And then I'll make a ruling and I'll take that up.
The video wasn't even in the exhibits that I received. They actually didn't even receive them.
Mr.
They were
Brooks, please
obtained.
stop.
Just imagine the worst
You're
music you've ever heard
statements.
going on right
He's
now.
not testifying. The video's playing.
For anyone that's wondering why this is relevant, it's not just to insult him for how awful he is at music. It's because, and this is actually one of the key things that the internet like pieced together. Not obviously the investigators did too, but I saw this floating all around Twitter like the day this happened. It's the car. So his vehicle is in this music video, and they were easily able to put that vehicle, at that scene. It's not just to like insult him, it's the same car. Though the music is really bad, and this should be an extra charge for how terribly shit the music is. Your Honor, can we have him maybe sing it for us instead, a cappella? Meet you in the middle? We don't have to listen to the absolutely awful beat, but we can listen to the bars? Daryl Brooks flips out when revealed he's a sex offender. Is it the first time he's hearing that too? Your Honor, this is outrageous. I've never heard such a thing. Oh, he goes shirtless and throws the tantrum over being ejected from court. I thought he was in the middle of changing into his suit.
And to look at the veracity of what your claims are here.
Thanks for your sub, JDR.
So, I may take an early lunch. If that's in your
He's
cell,
consulting with the big
you
man
can go
upstairs
get it
for
and
his
bring
legal
it. But
defense. Give him a
without that
moment.
Letter, I'm not allowing this line of question. Move to the next courtroom.
That's what you want to do anyway.
It's not what I want to do. Do not interrupt, Attorney Opper.
So can
Your
you
Honor,
say,
I
can you
believe he
explain-
has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI 2nd from 1997, and OWI 3rd from 1997, and OWI 4th from 2003, criminal trespass to dwelling from 2006.
Right, I need to take a break.
He's
This man right
smoldering.
now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared. And we're taking a break.
What the fuck? Okay. An interesting tactic. Again, not something I would have seen Saul use, but that doesn't mean it's not effective. Bro emoted it. Yeah, he missed input and accidentally emoted in court. What do you think? What does he think is going to result from his actions? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. He doesn't defend himself. He doesn't even try. I don't know. Yeah, he basically just shows up to court to go AFK and then rage. Defendant throws backpack at judge, and throws is capitalized, caps locked. Must be a hard throw.
Next stop is the Cleveland Municipal Courtroom of Judge Marilyn Cassidy, Cleveland, Ohio. He walks up alone, carrying a backpack.
Full of bricks. Just to launch at the judge. Oh. Uh-oh. Ah! So it was right. He isn't going to do any of that. He's just going right to jail. He didn't lie. How close was the throw, though?
By hurling his backpack at her.
Oh, not even close. Hit the
judge
desk.
quickly ducks, and meanwhile, Carson punches public defender
Ooh.
David Eidenmiller, who just happens to be standing there in the back of the head. He's then tackled by the
I
large
bet
man
David
in the
feels
white
real
shirt.
silly.
His court officers come streaming in to help.
I better get out of the way of this potential danger. Shit, I walked right into his fist.
And that big mystery man who came flying out of his seat and over the defense
Stone
table
Cold
to
Steve
take down
Austin.
Carson? Well, that's Cleveland Police Union President Steve Loomis.
Oh, I was
Just
close.
happened- He's eventually subdued, cuffed, and led out of the courtroom. He's charged with contempt of court and sentenced to 30 days in jail.
Only 30, you
Thanks
know?
for being a fan of Court Cam.
You know, only 30 days for launching a backpack and punching an attorney? That's, you know, it could have been worse. That's almost a fair trade right there. Like, you know, he kind of came out on top of that transaction, really. Man escapes from courthouse in handcuff. Man, this happens so often. Oh,
The
good
defendant
move.
slipped away from security and re-entered the courtroom.
He picks the locks on the handcuffs.
He strips off his prison-issue shirt.
Wait, what? He actually got the fucking handcuffs
and
off?
uses it to hide his handcuffs. He makes it to the
Oh,
hallway, and
wow.
after a quick look around, and continues barefoot through the courthouse.
This guy just doesn't give a fuck.
He makes his way to the lobby until he exits straight through the front doors. But within 2 hours, police catch
Oh,
up with him
he didn't get very
hiding at
far.
a friend's house.
He went right to a friend's house, huh?
Immediately taken back into custody.
He looked pretty smart
Thanks for
there
being
for a
a
minute
fan
with that
of
shirt
Court Cam.
play. I'll go to the one place they'll never expect me to my mom's house. It's too obvious, they'll never check. Man tries to escape courtroom.
Next, we head to Jefferson
Thanks
County
to Tier
Circuit
1
Court
Nick.
in Louisville,
The
Kentucky.
Prime suck.
We are on the record.
Once the testimony concludes, the camera, controlled by Judge Barry Willett, remains locked on the empty witness chair as the judge announces his decision.
And then a ghost comes in.
In its entirety.
That flash across the screen was Woodford making a run for it.
I was able to pick up on that. I was able to piece that puzzle together, actually. That the man running was probably the
Can
guy.
be heard pleading with her boyfriend to stop.
Yep. I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, except for the ending of 3. The ending is terrible.
Caught up in the tussle to stop Woodford from escaping.
Thanks to resub T-. And I'm not sure, I'd have to think about it.
Well, that's a first in 19 years on the bench. She did tackle him on the way out. Are you okay?
He sounds like Winnie the Pooh.
Woodford's girlfriend requests
Oh, well, I guess he did try and escape.
What happened to her?
How about some honey?
Record in the Woodford.
Man gets tased in court while trying to clear his name. Ah, that sounds cool.
We now head to the Nesbitt Courthouse in Anchorage, Alaska.
That they had screwed me out of a plea deal, that the state had falsified evidence, and now they're lying
it's a
about
grand
everything
conspiracy.
to cover it all up, and that's just the beginning of it.
The game pilot and tour guide is seeking to clear his
Jesus,
name
he's
in
even got a map.
decades-old conviction.
That is another felony.
I don't think you're gonna get these felonies to work.
Because somebody has to.
No matter how hard you stomp. Oh shit. Oh god. The taser wasn't on the map! Is that the judge? That looks like Slender Man. Who are we zooming in on here? Is that a cryptid?
The judge opts not to intervene
and
leaves the courtroom.
I've had enough with you crazy Alaskan people. I'm going home.
Haig's attempt to clear his name continues.
I think he did a pretty good job of clearing his name, if I had to guess. Like, I don't, I don't think they're gonna continue to look at him as a bad guy. I think he, overall, pretty good mission. Yeah, I mean, he took the map right out of Dora the Explorer's backpack, but it wasn't enough to convince the old judge there. He still got fucking blasted. Judge makes everyone go to jail for 30 days. Really? He was having a bad day.
Back of the courtroom is Ingrid Bird,
Hey,
the
Ingrid.
defendant's wife. And sitting in the row directly in front of her is the victim's mother,
Uh-oh.
Peggy Gabbard.
Ingrid's about to go
Ready to
nuts.
begin the
Oh, Jesus, Ingrid! She just got clobbered. Whoa, boy. Whoa, now.
defendant's wife.
Oh, did she get involved too? She's like 70 years old.
Red purse, I told you to come up here. Put him right there.
Ooh, the whole class is getting fucked.
Alone for your mind if you think you're going to try to stop anything in court. We got bailiffs in here to do it. And you're sitting in there in jail right now.
And where were those bailiffs, William? What do you mean?
Handcuffs, this is insane.
What?
The incident ends with at least 4 people being charged with contempt.
They were so behind.
Mother, Peggy Gabbard. The defendant,
This guy had to completely separate them.
If you don't get 6 months in jail.
Damn, William just said, I want to feel
fan
big
of Fort
today.
Camp.
I want to feel real big. I'm going to send this 90-year-old woman to jail for 30 days. See if she lives. That'll teach you to try and protect your daughter.
The teen addresses the court.
I would like to fight for myself.
Uh-oh.
It appears this young defendant
Uh-oh.
play Perry Mason, but Judge
Pulling a
Williams
page out of
assumes
Onision's playbook.
That's a good idea.
Very good, very
That's not a
good.
smart play. New York Yankees, and you've never even learned how to play baseball.
That's fine.
Yeah, but he goes on Reddit sometimes. Let him do it. Yeah, why can't we just let my son go to jail real quick? Fuck it. I don't even want to try.
My job requires that I protect your constitutional rights. You as an American citizen.
Oh god, he's going in. Holy shit, he's going raw.
Stupid to know
Whew.
that what I'm trying to do is protect you. Then
Oh
let me
boy.
spell it out for you.
Teen sues parents. Good.
It's a broken family dynamic.
And a good camera at this courthouse. Very interesting.
And I'm asking the court
to help her in this very difficult situation because they have...
The dad just wrote down, no chance.
And I believe that they are being negligent.
Nope.
And irresponsible.
Will not help.
These statements that they...
Uh-oh.
One of the
So it's a
driving
boy
forces
thing,
behind
huh?
the suit is that mom and dad don't approve of Rachel's boyfriend.
Why does he drive a
Read the
sports
transcript
bike?
from a phone call made by Rachel's
Smoke
mother,
cigarettes?
Elizabeth.
Isn't this case thrown out? She's 18.
You're a real winner, aren't you? I really just want to all over your face right now. Anyway,
Oh, I see.
have a nice life.
Jesus, okay,
He
well
has
then.
some strong words for the plaintiff.
That's a weird thing to say to your parents. I want to shit all over your face. It's like an Xbox Live insult.
Where the mother is calling the daughter the same kind of name. So I would go...
The mother threatens to shit all over her daughter's face.
They're the ones who raised this child. This is the language that they're using in their household.
Interesting. So who's shitting on whose face then? The web runs deep.
Are we going to...
A family that shits together stays together. There was once a period in time before erections were invented. There was also a period in time before televisions had hundreds of channels. And when I was growing up, my television only had 100 channels, and the majority of them were static because you were accidentally picking up some fucking alien transmissions through the tube TV antenna. And during this time, there was a hobby known as channel surfing. I'm sure that's a dead art now, because now when you have friends come over and shit and you don't know what to do, well, you can pop back, play some games with your gamer bros, and give each other Dorito enemas and all that cool shit. But back then, what you would do is you would surf the channels looking for shit to watch. Comedy Central, after like 2 a.m., would just start playing censored Girls Gone Wild. There'd be a lot of Spanish stations playing some news and shit, but what would always happen is you'd end up watching a C-SPAN broadcast. Now, what I'm about to show you has no relation to C-SPAN in any regard, really. However, it does personally remind me of those times watching C-SPAN broadcasts.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I just moved here because I'm getting a divorce.
Now, Lisa has shown up to a council meeting where they're asking for input from the community for some upcoming decisions they're making, and Lisa is now speaking her piece. The most important character to focus on during this manga arc is the old man in the background. He is a very important character to the development of the plot.
And it's not final till September 18th. My husband will not give me any money. Not 1 penny.
It's a shitty husband and you're better off without him, honestly, Lisa. It's time that you get on Tinder. You're gonna find some good guys on Tinder, and let's say Tinder doesn't pan out for you. There's always RuneScape. There's some real upstanding good gentlemen on that game.
The lawyer won't help me. My husband won't help me. My dad, Marlon Lee Whitmer, he's a minister, won't help me.
This is really when the old man starts falling apart here. He's trying so hard to hold it in, but his armor is cracking, and beneath that armor is a giggling demon. And out of context, there's really no reason why he should be laughing at this. It's very unfortunate the situation Lisa's going through. However, as the anime continues to develop, you'll start to realize that maybe this isn't the time and place to be talking about such things.
My stepmother won't help me. My mother passed away 7 years ago, and my dad and Annie Hockhausen, they wrote at Vera French that they both are my parents. Annie is my stepmom.
Lisa is fucking coming for scalps here. She's name-dropping all of them, putting them on blast. I wouldn't be surprised if she pointed to a DJ booth and said, "Kick that shit," and then started a diss track on him.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing.
Well, I'll be. Butter my nipples. Lisa, that comes as a shock to me. I never got that feeling at all during this fucking Oscars acceptance speech.
But there's a reason. My lawyer is Justin Title. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
The Justin Title? No, I can't say I have, Lisa, to be honest with you. For some reason, though, that name Justin Title sounds like a Fortnite player to me. Like, I imagine Lisa walked into the lawyer's office and he's like, "Just hold on right there, miss." Hits a fucking fat dab and then says, "Are you ready to get these dubskis in court?"
I'm moving down to Texas soon to help the children in Texas. I'm a very loving parent. Very, very, very loving parent. I have a 20-year-old daughter. She's going to college at St. Ambrose this fall. She's in Muscatine College right now. Her name's Brianna Elizabeth.
Man, that elderly gentleman is trying so hard to keep it together. I feel bad for him because it looks like he just came into the council meeting to catch some hard Z's and just fall asleep through it. But now there's this monkey wrench that's been thrown into his plan, this X factor, because Lisa's now left the set of Parks and Recreation to come to the council meeting to give a graduation speech, and the old man is just laughing too hard to fall asleep.
And she is not helping me because she's 20, she's scared, she doesn't want her parents to separate or divorce.
Ma'am, we're discussing the rezoning for the Portillos. Do you have any comments on that?
For what?
What a fucking fantastic season finale there. The writers really outdid themselves with that plot twist. Who saw it coming? Now all of the clues throughout the season make sense. Why the old man was laughing as hard as he was, despite Lisa's story not being all that comedic, makes sense because she was delivering this DiGiorno's personal pan life story in front of a council that was aiming to discuss a Portillo's rezoning. It had no place there. It's absurd. You can't help but giggle about that. It'd be like me going on America's Got Talent and reading excerpts from The Outsider's book. Or rather, it'd be like me dropping trousers, soft dick out, and pissing into a trash can, then calling my dentist to schedule an appointment for my dentist to come take out that trash. That's not what the dentist signed up for. That's not his job. That's not what he was looking for. And neither was this council. They just wanted Portillo's input, but instead, they got Lisa's entire story.
We're discussing the rezoning on 53rd for...
Well, I live on 63rd.
Again, we're here to hear comments about the rezoning.
Well, I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet because I can't find a job. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
Fuck no, that doesn't make any sense to me, Lisa. But how did they block your password? I've never heard of a library doing that. I feel like maybe you just forgot your password. I don't think the library has a grudge against you and is trying to shut you down from their internet access. Sounds like some Jason Bourne level shit, like there's this command center at the library that has one super trained special operative that is just an expert at watching security cameras to identify if it's Lisa that just entered the building, like some type of fucking national security alert. So then he sees Lisa come in, so he sprints to his boss and reports it. Jesus, Boss Franklin, she's here. So then the boss turns around in this giant office chair, puffing a cigar with sunglasses on, and he says, "Shut it down. Shut it all down. May God have mercy on this library." But yeah, on the real, Lisa, fuck Facebook.
Ma'am, we're not here to discuss your personal life. I'm sorry. Do you have any comments about the rezoning?
No, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next.
A peaceful resolution all around, pretty wholesome, honestly. I'm convinced that the council wanted to just let her go as long as possible, and they had this joke ready in their head like, this is for the Portillos, you know, this is going to be a great mic drop, let's time this perfectly. And then they did. Hats off to the council for letting her go and then timing the Portillos mic drop for when they did. The timing couldn't have been any better. So yeah. Watch court cam. Is there new court cam that I've missed? Let's see. I'll just go through here, I think. This might be easier. Man tries playing mind tricks with the judge. So he encountered a Jedi. Is that Nicolas Cage?
Hall is here for driving under the influence and driving with a suspended license.
He looks like the kind of guy.
Sir, I haven't said for the court how I'm appearing today, sir. I'm not asking you yet.
What does that mean? I can see how you're appearing. Like a meth addict.
Sir, today I'm appearing as the agent and settler for David Hall.
Oh, he's cosplaying.
Okay. My name sounds exactly like the defendant's, and I'm here to settle that matter today.
Oh!
So are you and David Hall one
Interesting.
I'm not a person, I'm an individual. David Hall is a person, I am a private individual.
Hall's legalese
Interesting.
unconventional, to say the least. But the judge...
He's got us backed into a corner.
May I, individual, And I don't think you understand the difference between a person and an...
Could you appear as a 19-year-old boy, perhaps, if I asked you to?
Correct.
Just starts transforming his face like a polyjuice potion.
And even the person's bond today, $10,000.
Damn.
Is the settler of the
Slap the whole family.
And the person continues to drive without a driver's license.
Quick, substitute in somebody else.
$10,000.
This time you're
Because
Martha
this charge
Cranberry.
is a violation of his original bond. All versions of David Hall must remain in jail unless he can come up with the cash.
Well,
is there any other...
Are you asking me as the settler, the agent?
Hey, he's getting fucking blasted. Judge is bending him over and biting his fucking asshole off.
Okay, I am not the person, David Hall. Tell him he's not leaving jail either, all right? Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Down the middle.
You have to be a really insufferably fucking dumb asshole to think sovereign citizen is a real thing. Just as a heads up. Thanks to the resub chills. It never works because it's not a real thing. If you say you're a sovereign citizen, you just get laughed at. Let's see what the most dramatic moments are. He's even got merch made. That was pretty cool.
Please be seated.
Accused of killing 2 teens in 1993 when he was just 16.
Holy shit.
At that time, it became a key piece of evidence for the prosecution.
The court has received.
So did he actually kill them or what?
Indicating that they've reached a verdict.
Villegas has been on trial 3 separate times for this crime and has maintained his innocence throughout. After spending 18 years in prison, that verdict was thrown out in 2013.
Holy shit!
Because of ineffective assistance of counsel. He has remained out on bond as he awaited a 3rd trial. During that time, he fathered 2 children.
What the
fuck? The prosecution continued to insist on his guilt.
Verdict Form B. We, the jury, find the defendant Daniel Villegas not guilty of...
Hey! Oh, okay, so that had a happy ending, assuming he didn't actually murder anyone. If he did, then that's not good. We'll need to, have a hard think on that if that happens to be the case.
16 years old.
Good luck, teacher.
He fucking did it! It only took 18 years of his life.
Madison's been convicted on 3 counts of aggravated
Jesus
murder for
Christ.
the killing and mutilation of 3 young women in Ohio. As part of the hearing,
I thought these were gonna be goofy. These are fucking heavy. Jesus Lord.
Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown.
No, I hate that perspective. You don't forgive people like that. It's not empowering. It's not just demonstrating strength to forgive a murderer. It's ridiculous. Oh, fuck. That was a great jump. His airtime was nuts. He fucking took off.
Van Terry is released without charges. A short time
Thank
later,
God.
County Judge Michael Madison is sentenced to death and will now live on Ohio's death row. We start things off at the
I am so glad that guy didn't get charged. I am so fucking glad.
Domestic violence order
I hate when like you lash out at someone like that and you get charged for it. It's fucked up.
I haven't done anything to this court.
Is she gonna lunge at him too? Fucking take off.
For contempt of court. You will serve 10 days for contempt of court. Go now.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Make it 11 days.
in a legal process.
She handled that really well. Damn, people really, like, lunge.
No, I'm not. I'm not under oath. All right, raise your right hand. I'm gonna swear in.
Ooh! Blasted, get pranked. Oh, we've seen this. I recognize this guy now.
You threatened my life the other day.
I remember this. We did see this one.
I am not under oath. This is being done unconstitutionally.
I don't remember what he does.
My kids unrightfully. So that being said,
He's driving a hard case.
no, do you want to be here or not?
The judge is handling this very well.
Wants to sit here while you take their kids. This is a conflict of interest. Can I get some water, please?
Do you want to suck his dick for the water?
I don't know. I need you to answer.
He's so
Head
patient.
to the Cook has accepted a plea deal that will drop a conspiracy charge which carried a maximum penalty of life in prison. But counts of carjacking, attempted carjacking with a deadly weapon, and felony battery are still in play.
Damn, that's huge. I didn't know conspiracy was that seriously taken.
It was an orchestrated ambush, and you are a main part of that. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and adjudicate you guilty of all 3 charges.
Oh!
Sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
Damn! I mean, it is really avoidable. Don't set up an ambush. Like, it's super easy to avoid.
More severe than they expected.
Exit Prime Bomb.
It turns out that Cook and her mother's reactions were so intense because they believed the plea deal meant no prison time.
That's how they get you.
Judge Foxman
That's
allows her to enter
plea deals in a nutshell.
Cook's sentence is reduced to 11 years in prison.
Ah. Okay, so only over half of her entire life so far.
Where public defender Andrew Weinstock and his client are
To be fair, sounds like she deserved it though. Match with someone on Tinder, set up a robbery. That's fucked up.
I'm not waving.
That's not like a mistake you make. That is you being a psychopath.
I don't need your help.
Wow.
You know what? I'm the public defender. I have a right to be here, and I have a right to stand and represent
sit down.
my clients.
Damn.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just beat your ass.
Oh!
They both
It is.
head to the hallway
What?
behind the courtroom, just out of the view of the court's cameras. Believe it or not, they get into a physical
Holy
altercation
shit!
until Judge Murphy returns to the courtroom alone.
That is about the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
I will catch my breath.
So you're fucking, who's this, Judge Murphy? You're telling me the public defender got to square off against the judge in a legally orchestrated pugilistic fisticuff showdown at whatever this is, a Judge Judy dispute here or whatever, and the judge actually beat his ass and the cops didn't intervene at any point? That's incredible. That's fucking incredible. Judge Murphy, I want to see this guy. Is he jacked? Florida, that sounds about right. Florida Judge Murphy. Come on. Oh, come on! Who is this mystery man? What the fuck? No! They removed him? Total lack of self-control. Come on! This is exactly how it should be. You got beef? Let's fucking settle it. That's great. I just want to see him, man. I'm not his fucking attorney. I just want to see what the guy looks like. Will he pop up in images? No way. This is what he looks like? This guy threw hands? He wasn't dealing with like a pushover. Like, this is a big boy. God damn. All right. Hey, hats off to him. Trial by combat. He's got that old man strength.
I would like to get it done as fast as possible.
Good answer.
Doesn't help me.
Now, if you can beat the judge in the fight, we'll reduce it even further.
Florida Judicial Qualifications Commission, who charged Judge John Murphy with threatening to commit violence.
It wasn't a
against
threat. Sounds like he
public
followed
defender.
through.
Engaging in a physical
there
altercation
it
with
is.
counsel, the case eventually reaches the Florida Supreme Court, which orders the immediate suspension and permanent removal of Judge Murphy from his post.
Thanks to Resub Humongous. If you can beat my goddamn lawyer in a fight, he wasn't a good lawyer in the first place.
Washington. In the
You beat my
courtroom,
lawyer,
Judge
you
R.W.
beat me.
Buzzard,
That's fine.
who's just finished some business.
I have become a huge fan of watching school board meetings now. I treat it like a sport. But I'm not really cheering for anyone, I'm just there to appreciate the players going out there and giving it their best. I love watching this shit. With everything going on with masks and vaccines, school board meetings have become absolutely like a modern gladiatorial arena. It's extremely entertaining. And today I want to share the most recent one with you. This actually happened in my own backyard, the state of Florida. It's everything you'd expect from the state of Florida, just not with any bath salts at this, unfortunately. They said, hey, no drugs. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see them playing at their optimal efficiency in their normal habitat. They were here sober, to the best of my knowledge, which I think is a bit of a shame. They should definitely change the rules at these school board meetings to allow for performance enhancers like meth, especially in Florida where it's just so common. But anyway, I'm going to show you some of the clips of the people going up there to talk, but I do want to say there was a fist fight there. And I can't show you the video because, unfortunately, I think YouTube would take it down. So I'm just going to do my best to paint a picture with words for you. Imagine your old librarian from middle school. You know, she's a bit of an old battle axe, right? You know, a little slippery scallywag. She's not very nice, and she's a bit of a wino. She hits the wine pretty hard, and she's squaring off against your own mother. Like, your actual mom is there. And I want you to imagine them locked into a bout of Mortal Kombat, but as if they were both drunk zombies. So nothing's really landing. And then eventually one of them gets like a titty push in. She goes for like a one-handed titty shove, so she shoves her titty back. And then it gets broken up by a police officer. There were some fists flying, but nothing connecting. They were throwing out some wet noodles. But it's like both of them needed glasses and decided not to wear them that day, so they were just like punching air. You know, it wasn't really even close to the target. It's like they were trying to punch ghosts around their target, or like fighting their spirit. So none of the punches landed except for the booby thrust, and then it gets broken up. But there was one person that really stood out to me in the fight. She wasn't directly participating, but it's this woman right here, wearing a full American flag dress. So we had a real patriot in attendance that day. Fucking female Duke Nukem over here, just loves America, and she's there just trying to show her support for helping kids get sick. I am sorry the quality's a little low on that screenshot. It looks like a picture of Sasquatch. I'm sorry about that. That's the best quality I could find of her attire. But anyway, let me get into showing you the actual school board meeting clips.
I'm going to tell you that your time is up. The people of the state and this district are rising up, and you have awakened a sleeping beast.
That's right, baby. The beast is up and angry, ready to tear scalp from skull at the upcoming WrestleMania. I bet when she wrote that, she thought it sounded really cool and intimidating, but all I get is like 1990s Attitude Era WWE promotionals in my head.
Maybe the reason why we have people in the hospitals all this mask wearing. Did we ever think of that? Did we ever think of that?
Oh wow, now there is a thinker. Oh man, yeah, I don't know if we ever stopped to consider that. Maybe it is the masks that are making everyone sick. Wow, she's really blowing the case wide open. She has like the actual thought processes of a child. You know, is she then going to start lobbying that we remove cracks from pavement because if you step on a crack, you break your mama's back?
Putting a mask on those children is robbing them of their education. You are robbing these kids of their developmental rights in terms of education. Are you educators? Don't you know that?
She is making a good point. Everyone knows that your brain turns off when your mouth is covered. Every time you go to eat something and your mouth gets full, like you just go fucking full brain dead for a split second. Everyone knows that. So she's at least making sense here. You simply cannot learn while wearing a mask, obviously. I mean, how are you expected to do mathematics if there's a mask over your face, right? Like it's simple, it's elementary, really. I wonder if anyone ever told this lady that doctors and surgeons typically wear a mask when performing important operations. But that's probably a lie. I mean, the government probably made that up. I mean, you usually go under when you have like really important surgery, so you're asleep. They're probably not wearing a mask, and you're just being lied to. Since you haven't seen it with your own eyes, they're probably not actually wearing a mask. And if they were, they'd be drooling over themselves because their brain would be off. Like you can't do anything when you have a mask on, obviously, as she's saying. So yeah, no, that's probably a lie. They're probably, when they're doing surgery, they're probably wearing like a leather jacket with like a cigar in their mouth or something, so that way they can really focus. Mrs. Claus here really is onto something. Like, you just can't learn if you're wearing a mask, and that's a really good argument, I think. Like, there's a lot of merit to that statement, if you're the dumbest fucking person on earth.
I want to talk about the real pandemic, child sex trafficking. By putting masks on these kids' face, you can't identify any of them.
What? Excuse me? Buddy, it's a school board meeting. For a second there, I thought he was going to start, like, complaining as, like a child sex trafficker himself. You know, it's like, I can never tell what their age is anymore, god damn it, and it's making my profession as a human trafficker much more difficult, god damn it, so this needs to go.
They don't care about your children. As a matter of fact, they hate them. They hate your kids. They hate my kids. They hate your kids. They hate my kids. Get it?
Yeah. Fucking busting out some stinky rhymes there for a second. She was about to go into a full-blown freestyle for him. I'm pretty sure everyone that showed up here to demand that masks be ripped off of kids' faces are the ones that actually hate their own kids. I don't think they even view them as their own children. I think they just view them as like political tools or something to enforce their own beliefs and agenda. So I think they're really kind of the ones that hate the kids. But that goes against the song she was about to bust out there, the little nursery rhyme she was working up. But like, there's just, I'm sure even like a 9-year-old can recognize like there's nothing to be lost by having a mask over your face. It's not like it's harmful. It's not like ruining your life. So what's the point? Even if you don't think it works, it's no different than just having a dress code at school. Like if you go to a school and they say, hey, you can't have assless chaps, it's not like you're gonna make a big hoopla about that. Like, no, I should be able to have my asshole exposed to the world, right? Like it doesn't matter. If it's just part of the dress code, who cares, right? But to these people, it's more than just that. This is the only thing they have now. This is their whole personality, is just being against the mask and the vaccine. It's a stupid hill to literally die on. We've already seen, what, like 10 different radio hosts that kept preaching no mask, no vaccine, just literally die from it, and then talk about how much they regretted it. So, I mean, it's a cycle that seems to want to continue. And I feel bad for the kids because it's their parents that are trying to hurt them just because they have a stupid belief. They are literally going to Gangnam Style on the corpse of their own kid for it. And I don't think they're gonna care either. But I just wanted to say that because I think she's really the one that hates her own kids, and she's just kind of projecting that on the school board that she's whining and complaining to.
99.9 live through this flu, especially the kids, and the data proves that too. Science and laws shouldn't be changing so fast. Has Nuremberg taught us nothing of medical tyranny in the past?
This guy's face really says it all. She brought up Nuremberg. Good lord. Like, some of these people are just too far gone, to be honest. Like, there's just nothing you can do. They just desperately need something to cling to that they feel makes them unique, or makes them feel smart, and this is what they've chosen. And I don't think many of these families ever really admit when they're wrong. I do remember not long ago, there was a family who 2 different members of the family died, and they ran 2 GoFundMe campaigns and still kept saying no mask, no vaccine, even in their own fucking GoFundMe campaigns, as they were lobbying for money for funeral services for the 2 members that died from it. So it's just one of those things, man. I don't know what you do about it except just sit back and laugh at them anymore. Like, there's just nothing you can do. They refuse to believe, like, the most basic understanding of anything, and it sucks, but it's a pretty fucking lit school board meeting, right? Like, the content from the school board meeting's pretty fucking A tier. Of course, I feel super bad for the kids because they didn't choose to have stupid parents. It's just really unlucky. And yeah, just wanted to share some more cool school board meetings with all of you, and that's about it. So yeah. Secondhand embarrassment is a very real phenomenon. It occurs when you witness something that is so grossly turbo cringe that your body has a fight or flight response and fills you with shame from just having watched it, even though you weren't directly involved in the situation. I think the number one cause of secondhand embarrassment is bad stand-up comedy. So, you know, like, what's the deal with airline food? Salt shakers, you fill them up, and then where does it all go? Like, when a stand-up set bombs, I feel like most people get embarrassed for the person up there. But today, I got so much secondhand embarrassment, I feel like I got a year's worth of shame in one afternoon, thanks to the TikTok congressional hearing that happened. This was an absolute mockery of the entire country. It was absolutely foul. It was painful to watch. So I'd like to show you just a few of the clips. The whole thing was about 5.5 hours long, and I can't imagine anyone can make it to the end without puking. It's brutal. It has everything you're probably imagining, tech illiteracy and horrible questions out the wazoo, all wrapped up into one 5-hour endurance test of the human patience. In a nutshell, there's been a lot of controversy about TikTok and TikTok bans, like banning on government phones, which I do agree with. I don't think there's any argument to be made that a fucking government or someone in power person should have TikTok on their phone just because of potential security risks associated with it. And this has expanded into a lot of other big debates around it. I am not a personal fan of the platform in general. I don't really use it that often. Plus, I think it's been extremely detrimental to the actual mental health and attention span of human beings. Because now, I don't know if you go on TikTok often, if you go on TikTok and it's someone just talking about something or a clip of something, there is always Subway Surfers, Rocket League, or GTA playing underneath it in order to keep your attention. Because people need such constant stimulation and jingling keys. If there's not like 3 separate videos of like bars of soap getting cut for satisfying videos, or Rocket League freestyling, while the core video itself is playing, they click off. That shit is just so pathetic. It's actual brain rot behavior. I am very curious to see, in 10 years, if that's going to be the commonplace for everything in the world. Like if movies now are going to be like playing a movie, but then also underneath it, another separate movie, making sure that your attention is captured. Like, it's so baffling just how far the attention span of humans is degrading, where they can't watch a fucking 30-second video without 3 other videos also playing to keep their attention. But with all of that being said, I still don't want to see it nationally banned or any shit like that. And the reason's very simple. Because I like a world where people have the freedom to choose what they do with their whole life, pretty much. So if you want to download TikTok, you should. Even in spite of potential security risks to your privacy or whatever, that should entirely be on the individual's choice. Does the entertainment the platform offer outweigh the potential security risks to your data being sold or whatever? That's up to the person to decide. That's my ideal scenario where people have the freedom to make their own fucking choices there when it comes to some shit like this. I've made it clear I'm no fan of TikTok. I am also very confident that there is a huge level of like spyware with TikTok associated with it, more than the CEO lets on. But holy shit, this congressional hearing or whatever has done nothing but make the CEO of TikTok look like a patient saint. Like an actual Zen master to deal with the unhinged lunacy and out-of-touch questions those fucking fossils were throwing his way. It blew my mind. It blew my fucking mind. Her, oh my god, she's so dumb. She kept asking him questions, but instead of letting him answer, she'd just say, yes, yes, yes. And then she pulled up a random shitpost on TikTok like, you see this threat? Oh, fuck me. Yeah, so she pulled this up and she's like, look at this. Outrageous. It's not a viral post or anything, by the way.
That video was posted 41 days ago. As you can see, it is captioned me as F.
Dude who asked about TikTok using Wi-Fi? I don't remember, but I think they were trying to make a bigger point. And this is really giving a very charitable bone to the person who asked the question. I think what they were getting at with asking about Wi-Fi is he was trying to state that if one device is connected to a network, it can access everything on that network, which it can. But he couldn't ask the question because I don't think he really fully understood it. But again, I'm doing a very charitable service trying to even make some sense out of that awful question. This accomplished nothing except making their CEO look better. Full-heartedly believe there is a lot more fishy shit at play on the back end of TikTok, but they did not even get close to the bottom of it because they couldn't even wrap their head around what an app on your phone is. It's tragic.
Mr. Zhang Fuping is the editor-in-chief.
He's not.
My colleague, Representative
Just doesn't even let him say it or talk.
minutes ago exposed that TikTok and ByteDance share legal teams. You confirmed this, correct?
Our general counsel is
Yes.
an American lawyer,
Yes.
veteran of Microsoft.
Also, my colleague, Representative Lada, confirmed that your parent
Fucking
company,
worthless.
ByteDance, currently can access user data. Yes?
We have to be more
Yes.
specific.
Yes.
After
You
Project
say-
Texas, no.
I'm not asking after Project Texas, I'm asking now. Yes.
Some user data is public data, Congresswoman, which
So
means
you
everybody
confirm that.
can search
What's
for it on the
interesting to
internet.
me is that you have used the word transparency over a half a dozen times.
So, doesn't seem to understand that when you ask a question, you should wait for an answer instead of fill in your own blanks here. So, her asking about the data that they're accessing, he talks about the public data, which is something every app in the world accesses, even that computer she's on right there. I bet she's logged in on Twitter. That uses all of your fucking data too. I bet she has a Facebook account. That not only accesses all of your data, it sells it too. All of these apps do that. What they needed to get to the bottom of is more in line with like what is TikTok specifically doing with that data and how it relates to like the CCP and shit like that. But instead they're so hung up on like public data. You're accessing public profiles. That's creepy. That's something one of the guys said. It's so fucking crazy. And for some reason they don't even let him answer, so they get no answers. They get nothing out of this. It is fucking worthless. It is a complete waste of time. They said they were watching children's public profiles, which was creepy. everything's watching every public profile ever. That's the whole point of it being public. It gets scanned in these systems. That's not exclusive to TikTok. Twitter does it. Facebook does it. YouTube does it. Everything does it. Literally everything. We threw away our privacy long, long ago. TikTok is just a little more nefarious, potentially, with what it uses that data for, at least based on like reports from a year or two ago. Not meant to be informational or useful, it's meant to grandstand for campaigns. It's actually tame compared to everything else, and, well, I guess maybe. It's still so stupid, though, because this doesn't do anything to further anyone's agenda here. Everyone that asked him questions today looks like a bumbling fucking buffoon. A genuine moron. Like, I feel like all this does is shake people's confidence in their elected representatives here. They couldn't they couldn't ask a good question. Were they like this with Mark Zuckerberg? Yes! Yes, they were. It was just as bad with Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg sat in the same hot seat as this guy did, and he got bombarded with just as stupid questions. If I remember correctly, one of the Facebook questions was, do I need internet to connect to Facebook? Or something like that. We are not getting anything out of this garbage. What do you think their approach should be on this topic? Hand it off to people that understand it. Clearly, this woman doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. At all. She has no clue what's going on right there. And she clearly doesn't even want to get answers because she's too busy answering herself. So get someone who gets it, have them ask the questions, and come up with the questions to begin with. Delegate. This is clearly not her strong suit. She's not even old! That you can't just keep using the excuse of they're all fucking geriatric. She is not old. She is willfully stupid. And still tries to act like an authority on the topic. She pulled up a fucking 400 view shitpost to try and use it as a point that completely fell flat. And then doesn't even let the guy answer her questions because she's too busy answering herself. Now, while she may have come to this hootenanny unprepared and made me ashamed to be a Floridian, she did mention something that I think is important to talk about briefly, which is Project Texas. Project Texas is something TikTok did to appease the US. In a quick nutshell, Project Texas is US user data being sent to Oracle, which is on American soil, as opposed to going anywhere else. So all of the US user data will now be on American soil, and Oracle kind of oversees the whole thing.
On a device in one pocket, but downloaded on your device in the other doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I believe Congress and DoD should address the continued use of TikTok on military installations as well as any use that depicts U.S. military operations. Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the...
So if I have a TikTok app...
Again, this is being very charitable. I think the point he was trying to make is... when it accesses the Wi-Fi, it has access to all of your devices that are within that network, which every device that accesses your Wi-Fi does. That is factual. That is true. Which is actually something that happened to Kaya. He downloaded a burglar broke in and downloaded a torrent, and it came with a virus, which infected multiple devices that were on his network. It is known that when you are on a Wi-Fi network, it connects to more than just the single thing that's connected to it. It's everything there. So I think his point was, can it access my other devices? Which is why he's talking about, like, downloading on a device next to me. Shit like that. But the way he asked that question is so bafflingly stupid that even the TikTok CEO's like, fucking obviously, it's gonna access your Wi-Fi if you turn it on. Right? Like, it's just craziness. So have someone who understands what the fuck they're talking about be the one to ask these questions. I think you gave him too much credit. He probably thinks Wi-Fi is a radio. Again, it's a very charitable interpretation of what I think he could have been trying to say. I could be way off and giving way too much credit there. I don't know. For the sake of clarity, I actually think that guy's follow-up question kind of hints more at what I was saying. Even though it's still poorly asked and his follow-up question is still poorly phrased, I do think with a high level of confidence, the thing he was trying to get at is TikTok going to be accessing all kinds of things on my network outside of just the one device that I'm using right now to connect to it? I think is what he really wanted to get at, but he didn't know how to get to that topic effectively. So he ended up making a very silly question out of the whole thing, Which really sums up the entire hearing. Just silly questions that didn't do anything at all. They didn't get any answers. They didn't get to the bottom of any real questions people have. It was just a genuine fucking circus. Just an absolute clown show. That's really about it. See ya. Today there were a handful of moments that went viral on Twitter from the Young Thug trial that's ongoing. And I really want to talk about them. I need to make it clear right away. I know next to nothing about the Young Thug trial. I don't know what the particulars of the case are, what he's being accused of, what he's potentially facing. I don't really have a clue, but you don't need to know the lore behind why the trial is happening to understand why these moments are so wacky. I'm going to go ahead and start by showing you what I believe is potentially one of the biggest head-scratcher moments the American justice system has ever heard.
Regardless is less than 1% of this whole indictment. This reminds me of this anime named Bleach, where it's 16 seasons. Every episode is about 18, 20 episodes. Sorry, every season is 18 to 20 episodes. And they have season 4 and 5. They have these bouts. They're villains of the whole thing in season 4 and season 5. The main characters are trying to get them out of soul society.
Pardon the interruption. I'm not trying to jump scare you here, nor am I trying to intrude on this passionate speech about the Bount arc from Bleach, but I think it's important because I imagine most of you haven't seen what she's referring to, and God bless you, keep it that way. The Bount arc in Bleach is regarded by many, myself included, as one of the worst arcs in all of anime. It's basically about vampires that get introduced out of nowhere and then leave out of nowhere, never to be addressed again. It is a garbage filler arc that serves only to waste your time and insult your intelligence. It is truly trash. And I'm one of those poor souls that endured the torture of watching it. I didn't know the Bount arc was filler. So I subjected myself to that almost never-ending nightmare. So when she brought up the Bount arc here, it was like an old wound reopening and then having salt poured in it. I had a repressed memory come forefront and then like post-traumatic stress disorder as a result because she brought up the Bount arc in this fucking trial for some reason. Now, she is representing someone else who was involved in this case. His name is Rodalius Ryan, and the way she's trying to weave in the anime reference with the point she's trying to make is interesting.
You go to season 6, you don't hear about the bounce. You go to season 7, you don't hear about the bounce. Why don't you hear about these important characters? Because they're filler characters. It's a filler season. Me and Rodalius, we're fillers. We're not integral to the story. They just drag him out of prison to jail to make this bigger than it has to be. We're basically distractions. So, as a juror, what can you do to tell the state, we're not going to be distracted. We don't need to listen to filler. You come back at the end of this with a not guilty for Rodalius Ryan. You tell them we do not want to waste our time on fillers. We just want to get to substance. So I guess, sit back, enjoy the show, get some popcorn, because this is not justice, this is a circus. Thank you.
I find that closing remark, this isn't justice, this is a circus, hits even harder since it follows an entire speech about anime in a legal setting. Like, she isn't wrong, this is set the dial from serious all the way to silly. We have cranked that shit up now. We're talking anime. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is how I imagine a Discord trial might go. You have Judge Wumpus presiding over a case, slamming the gavel. Order! Order! Huh. Interesting. Tipping a fedora. This reminds me of that time in Naruto when Rock Lee took off those training weights against Gaara. Am I right? Isn't that right, jury? Like, it's just... It has taken anime and put it in a setting where it shouldn't be. This is a very professional spot that deals with people's lives. Like, you're there to represent your client, and you're using anime in your opening statements here, I think is probably the wrong move here on the chessboard. Not the strongest opening. Based on how she sums up her opening statements, it seems like the point she's trying to get across is that her client is not important in the overall case, thus their presence is only there to serve as a distraction or inflating everything. Thus, it's filler. like bleach bound arc. Now for the next clip I'd like to show you, you're gonna have to really open up your ears here because the audio on it is some dog ass. It's pretty bad. For some reason, quite a few times throughout the trial, the audio would just get really fucked up.
But to Jeffrey, thug had a different meaning. Now some of you read books about Tupac and what it meant to be thug life. Thug life, the hate you give little infants, Fs, everyone. Meaning discrimination and racism hurts all of us. We teach that to our kids.
Now this is Young Thug's lawyer, and right now he is trying to get into the kitchen with a ton of ingredients and start cooking. And the recipe that he's following, well, it's got some interesting flavor to it, to say the least, with the direction that this dish ends up going.
That was not what thug meant to Jeffrey. Thug meant and means to Jeffrey something very personal. It was his path that if he could ever make it as a musical artist and help his family, himself, and his many others out of this endless cycle of hopelessness, he would be truly humble under God. That's what thug means.
I tried my best to edit out the long pauses he takes. I don't know if he's like a classically trained actor or something, or he's auditioning for a thespian troupe. I don't really know. But he takes these like long, really dramatic pauses mid-sentence, and it just dragged everything so long. My theory is that the reason he keeps pausing and stopping for a little bit is because he's stalling for time so he can continue to come up with something in his noodle up here, and he eventually comes up with a banger. He ties it into, this is not what thug actually means to Jeffrey, Jeffrey being Young Thug's real name. He then says the thug stands for truly humbled under God. And when I heard him say that, I did one of these. I actually just shot back. I was like, wow, he fucking did it. He pulled off a miracle. Like, I could imagine, like, the jury standing up and clapping like, man, that was so moving, wiping tears from their eyes. Truly humbled under God. Now it all makes sense. Like, it's such an incredible Hail Mary play from the lawyer here. Obviously, this is a bunch of fish paste. That is, the thug in Young Thug doesn't stand for anything. It's not an abbreviation. That wouldn't make any sense. Let's just play ball with this idea here, this fantasy that it stands for truly humbled under God. That would mean his name would be Young, Truly Humbled Under God. That would be his artist name. That is nonsensical. But it was a really interesting tactic here, a very odd strategy that I couldn't help but appreciate. Like, I found it impressive. To go to this level of, like, on-the-spot thinking to try and just pull something out of your ass is admirable. I unironically love that strategy. I think it's just a banger. It makes me want to give it a try. Like, the moist on my shirt, it stands for mopey outlook is super terrible. And it's all about having a mopey attitude is a bad thing, and we gotta turn that frown upside down. It's all about a positive outlook, baby. And actually, that's a perfect segue into another thing Young Thug's lawyer tried to pull off in the trial today. It's another very incredible strategy.
And the indictment that the prosecution had the grand jury return says he's holding up a blood sign, and that furthers this conspiracy. There's nothing wrong with holding up a blood sign, but that's not a blood sign. A blood sign's like this. It looks like a B. That is a P. Jeffrey's fingers are down. And what you'll learn is that Jeffrey just released with Sergio Kitchens, performed known as Gunna, a song that is wildly popular. It's around the globe. It's called Pushing P. And it's positivity. It means any circumstance you're in, if you think positively about something, you can make it through. You're pushing positivity. You're pushing P. Jeffrey is showing the P.
If ever there was a time for a standing ovation in court, it would be right then. This guy, in front of all of humanity and God went out there and said, actually, what you're looking at is a P with his hands, and it references pushing P, which stands for pushing positivity. That is so good. That is so fun. What a fucking W. Like, I'm sure most of you remember pushing P from like a year or so ago. I never fully understood exactly what it meant. I believe, like, the main usage was pushing P references, like, pursuing success while still maintaining integrity, like being loyal to the people that you care about, that you're close with, like your friends, like never forgetting where you came from while pursuing success. Which, I guess in a way, you could argue that pushing P is pushing positivity, I suppose, though I don't think the P ever stood for positivity, ever. But from this point forward, if I ever see pushing P again, that's immediately where my head's going. From now on, if I see pushing P, I'll be like, oh, pushing positivity, I get it. All because of this lawyer. I don't know how these interesting strategies will pan out in court for Young Thug and everyone else on trial. I don't know anything about the case. All I know is that these clips from today's trial are really interesting, to say the least. I just had to share them. I had to talk about them a little bit. I guess we'll see how it all plays out. That's really about it. See ya. Pregnant woman attacked boyfriend for eating her Oreos. I mean, that's justifiable, right? Was she found not guilty?
All right, man. That she was craving Oreo cookies and became upset when she discovered that Mr. Edwards had eaten her Oreo cookies.
Makes sense to me. Sounds like an advertisement for Oreos. So good you'll commit domestic assault.
He received allegedly 3 staples in the head as a result
Whoa.
of munching on her cookies.
I think the harm was greater than the intent.
Wait, what the fuck?
That's Public Defender Dale.
How hard did she throw that?
He can relate to the situation.
Does she play softball or something? Where's that fucking power coming from?
Can I give you some advice? Hide your Oreo cookies next time.
This was sweet.
The charges against Jennifer Kangemi would later be dropped.
Yeah, I think that's just very unlucky. It sounds like she didn't mean to give the man 3 staples in his head. Just seems like some of those pregnancy hormones. Apparently being pregnant turns you into a fucking demon. Said I missed one? Oh, infamous Judge Scary Mary tells woman to get her life together.
What would ever possess you to take someone to a crack house?
Probably to get crack. What do you mean? Why else would you go? It's not like a field trip.
She'd just driven to a drug house.
Well, then why are you here?
Because I took a friend asked me to take her, and I did.
You don't have good friends.
Well, you can do crack and still be a good friend.
Do you realize that there's going to come a point in your life when your mom's not going to be around and you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet?
Yes.
What do you mean? Her mom's not doing anything. Her mom's just standing there.
How'd that happen? Take her out. You've got to put your foot down or else it's going to continue and it's only going to get worse. Somebody cares about you. That friend that you drove to the crack house, turn around. You see her in here?
No, because there is no friend.
She doesn't care about you.
Well, it was. She drove herself there, I think.
And today,
she was driving her mom there. That's a good mom. As she's sweating.
Now don't get mad at your mom.
That'll teach you to do crack. And just like that, she went right back to the crack house. Defendant punches a stranger to teach them a lesson. I mean, how else are you gonna do it? Sometimes someone just gives you the stink eye and you gotta give them a wallop.
A bit shifty. Then, completely unattended, he walks to the front row.
What? What the fuck is that? Well, did you? That'll teach ya. Oh my god. For 1 second, I didn't realize he had a mask on. So at this angle, I thought for sure he had the world's largest nose like that guy from Guilty Gear Strive. Like Gabriel. I was like, oh my fucking god, they got Pinocchio on the Force. Now I see. They need to change the fucking camera quality. This shit is garbage. So frustrating.
And there were no additional charges brought.
Was this like an episode of Scared Straight?
He remained.
A woman slips handcuffs and attempts a daring escape, huh?
fingered Cooper for providing the lethal dose. She was charged with first-degree reckless homicide, but she's now being taken into custody for violating the conditions.
It's simple legal talk. When you finger somebody, it doesn't mean it sexually. Stop. Let's be mature here.
Just a few feet away are members of the victim's family.
It's standard terminology in court. Fingering and fisting and all of that. Let's not pretend like we don't know what they mean. Wow. She did not get very far. She's already proven handcuffs are inefficient against her.
Cooper slowly slides her left hand out of the cuff just outside of the deputy's line of sight.
How loose were the cuffs?
Now it's time for Cooper to make her
Makes
move.
the Reese of manslayer insured.
She takes off down the stairs.
Is this how Chris Angel does it?
The deputy chases her. Cooper darts down the stairs, but trips over the last step. Just as another guard joins the chase and jumps on top of her.
It was a good attempt. I don't know why the slowest people are the ones to try and escape.
Jumps in the mix too.
That was horrible.
This woman just walks right by without missing a step.
What's she supposed to do? Go over and help?
For her failed attempt at freedom, Elizabeth Cooper received several additional charges.
Nice. Worth.
Pled guilty. Thanks for being a fan of Court Cam.
Very nice. I think you really need to analyze your own capabilities. If you're gonna try and escape, think back on like your 40-yard dash time. If it's over 15 seconds, it's probably just not even worth getting the extra charges. You're not gonna get very far.
If you go someplace, well, I bet I do. Well, then you're in contempt, young lady, and you've got 30 days. So you're not going. You're not what? Whoa, whoa,
Oh.
whoa. That's another 30 days. That's 60 days. So what? 90 days. So 120 days.
Oh God.
180 days.
It looks like
Wow.
maybe 50.
Damn, she really racked that up.
You got anything else to say, Miss Burks? That's 300 days.
Can he do that?
She racked up 300
He just
days.
did.
Burks only ended up serving 88.
That's still a lot.
It was the longest in domestic violence charges.
She farmed that, yeah.
But she was forced to enter a
She was fucking farming days in jail there off the judge. It was like a Mario block. Instead of hitting coins, she was hitting new days in jail.
Joshua Martinez is representing
I don't know if we've seen this one because I can't see a fucking thing. Holy shit, this camera quality. It's like everyone's a photo of Bigfoot. Oh my god. How is this in use?
Not to Martinez, who apparently wants to.
This is like the world's first video camera from the 1800s.
Okay. Is there a sworn statement against me or injured party?
I believe you probably received a citation on April 12th. That would be.
God, this shit looks like a deep fried meme.
Okay, and is there
I am in charge of this courtroom, and you're going to stop it.
We are in charge of the courtroom.
Oh, he has assumed direct control.
Court, but the judge is about to show who's actually in charge here.
Marshall, would you show Mr. Martinez the inside of our holding tank, please? You're not going to tell me who's in charge of my courtroom, Mr. Martinez.
Hey, don't be so selfish, you narcissist. It's our
That
court.
is direct contempt of court.
We share it.
You are in contempt.
Oh, he just passed judgment. Now what?
Okay, Mr. Martinez, since you have informed me that I am in contempt of court and that you are...
I've decided to resign as a judge.
I'm going to go ahead and sentence you. Like to do that today, Mr. Martinez?
What would I be
It is a
apologizing?
yes or a no question.
What would I be apologizing
For
for?
your direct
Oh, he's still going?
All I was asking was legal questions, ma'am.
The teacher called out the
I'm going to
douchebag.
ask you the question.
2 men get trapped in store during robbery attempt. How often does this happen? We went down a whole rabbit hole of shitty robbers falling through ceilings and getting trapped in their own fucking buildings they were trying to rob. How is this so common? This camera quality is so much better than the courthouses.
He finds the back door of a neighboring travel agency open and escapes through the front with a female worker.
Damn, Tommy
Outside,
had a whole
man
plan.
pulls down the security gate. The assailants are trapped and desperate to escape.
What a hard outplay. Oh shit! Why not use your foot? Hurts a lot less. He's fucking ass ramming it. Jesus. It's not a club. We're not trying to grind on it. Just use your foot.
They use a